And welcome back, guys. So we're here putting the timing system on the 2.3 high output quad 4. And before we got to this point, before we even put the cams on, we turned the crankshaft backwards a quarter of a turn. And that brings all the pistons down inside the cylinders. So we know that it doesn't matter, we can put the cams in anywhere. And we absolutely are positive that the valves are not going to hit the pistons in any way. After we get the cams installed, we get the timing chain housing on, I put the cam gears on here, and you can see we got the intake and exhaust. And we rotated these until they line up with there's an alignment hole inside the timing housing, and that lines up perfectly. After that, we rotated it up to top dead center, so all the pistons are where they're supposed to be. We know the cams are in time here. These bolts are in here just finger tight because we're going to put Loctite on those and torque those down later. So without further ado, let's get started. We got a brand new Cloy's timing chain, a C383. Do that. And we're looking for a different colored link, which is this one right here. That's right there. We know none of those are on this side. So we're going to know that faces out. Place that in here. And there's a video on how to do this on my channel. It's got like 80-some thousand views. So it's a full video, start to finish. This is just going to be something quick so we can document the building process of this motor. And there we go. And we're going to bring this down around, get that locked in. And this looks really good here. You can see we're not quite down on the sprocket right there, but that's okay. We're gonna fix that in a moment. If I try and turn this to get these lined up, watch what happens. We're gonna drop that down on, and that's what we want right there. And as soon as I leave that go, it's gonna pop up. So that's okay. We're gonna take care of that in a moment. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna take our timing chain tension, which is a 9-5294. It's a Cloy's. And bring it in the bag. Get our 2 bolts here. Set this up in here. Try and get this in position. And it's probably not going to slide in there perfectly. Let's get in there. Gotta get it underneath the chain. Let's get it set like so. And it's not quite in there deep enough to be mounted just yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull this back, and that's going to create a little bit of slack in the chain right there. That's just enough to get it up where we can get the tensioner lined up and seated. There we go, and then we're going to get the bolt started. One thing we don't want to have is any slack here. We don't want this to drip down. We want this to come straight across like that. And I could probably leave that go right now and it would be fine. But we're going to get these bolts just preliminarily tightened. We're going to torque them down. They go to 89 inch-pounds. Cleaned all the threads, so there's no resistance when you return these in. You just turn them in with your fingers. I'll tell you what, for the time it takes to run a chase through all the threaded holes in the block and everything, for the time it takes to do that, the time you save, wrenching where you can just spin the fasteners in with your fingers, it's a pretty good deal. All right, so from here, we're going to, since we know we're locked in here, it's not sagging or anything, the spacing is correct, so this is good. We still got a little bit of slack on this side, as you can see. All right, we're going to torque this down to 89 inch-pounds, and I already have this set. It's going to click. always double check them. There is a variance with torque wrenches. So if that clicked a little early, by going back and running through it again a second time, make sure absolutely that it's torqued to at least the minimum spec. All right, so at this point, we're doing good. All we got to do now is put the guides in, and then we can release this. So we have a guide here, number 9-5304. Just let the guide open up. It's going to be this one here. Even though this stuff's new, we do want to just take a look at it when it comes out of the box, just to make sure there's no drama, no issues, and that looks amazing. It looks brand new, which it is. And just slide that little guy in there. And then we got a long one here. This is guide number 9-5305. Bring this guy up. We're going to check the time before we're done with this. Make sure the motor's in time. And this little guy is going to go here. Put it upside down. Let's get it on this side. And I still have not released the timing chain tension yet. We don't want to do that, because that's going to pull the chain tight where we can't really manipulate it this way. Get in there. Man, that's a new chain, definitely. There's no extra slacking whatsoever. There we go. There we go. Want to make sure that's bottomed out. Has these little tabs that holds it flush up against the timing chain housing. And finally, this little guy, a 9-5306. This little guy up. And this is a top one. It's so nice working with new stuff. And then we're going to just pry this down just a little wee bit, just enough where it clicks into place. Perfect. All right, at that point the motor's in time, so what we can do is we have this torque down. We still have not torqued these bolts down, but we're not going to do that until the very end. We want to make sure that everything's in time first. And you see we still have a little bit of play in there, but it's not excessive. And now pull this little clip off, and it's going to tighten that up. And now we're going to turn the motor over twice. The cam's rotated half the engine speed, so we're going to turn it over twice to get the timing marks to line up again. Pull the bolts out, and we're going to do this slow just in case we're out of time. We're feeling for any resistance, as if maybe one of the valves has come in contact with the piston. Everything seems really smooth so far. Nice and smooth. And we're going to go around again, all the way to top dead center. And I have to stick my head in the way here to see this. I'll have to get this kind of a line of sight deal. There's a little mark on the block, and then the tooth on the gear, and then the keyway. And then this should line right back up, and it might be off just a tiny little bit. If you're off just the slightest little bit, there it is. And that goes in. All right. So we know 100% sure that the motor's in time. Now we want to back the bolts out here. Don't forget this though. So we're going to back these out. And friction will keep those in place. We're not going to worry about those coming off. We want to put some Loctite on these. We definitely don't want these to come off. So we got some of the blue Loctite. I'm running low in this. This is kind of like the paste. And we're running low on it, so we're just going to grab hold and put a little bit on the threads there. And a little bit on the threads on that one. Stick that one in there. Tighten these down. I like to torque these at the end. Like with just the gears on there, I could have torqued these down. It wouldn't have been a problem. But that means the pressure from me running the torque wrench is on this pin, and the pressure on this one is on this pin. By having everything hooked up and done, whenever I torque this, there's going to be pressure on this pin, but also is going to transfer over. So hopefully it spreads the load out over both of these pins. So that's the goal. And we already have this set at 52 pounds. All right, so we're just rotating on the end of the stand. It's okay. Just going to double check it. And we're going to go back, check it again, and check it again, and then we're going to take our paint pen. And we're just going to mark that has been torqued, and we're also going to mark these because remember we did these, so we're going to put a little dot on those, and that's it. Our high output quad 4 is in time, and it's looking really good here, doesn't it? Everything's nice and clean, all new. We'll pop these out, and then the timing cover still needs a new seal in the front of it. We'll put that in, and we'll assemble this, and after this we can flip it upside down and put the oil pump on and the windies tray and all that, and we're going to do a video on that as well. If you like what you see here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody.